Hello everyone, Earl Henderson, Primordial Defense. Thank you for watching. I have another Monday quarterback video for you. This video comes from New Jersey, and New Jersey created a law back in, I want to say it was 2019, where the Attorney General's office would get involved in investigations where police were involved in incidents where people die. And this is a part of an investigation where police had came into contact with someone and that person ended up dying. They provide relevant video from that incident and they put it on their website. However, they do not create an easy community briefing type of video. There's literally the only thing you get is the press release information on it, which is what you kind of see right here. And then within this, there's a link. You can click on it. It'll show you all the videos involved in it. And then sometimes they'll have recordings of radio broadcasts. They'll have recordings of 911 calls. They'll have some body cam footage. They'll have in-car camera footage, etc. But there's no person talking, explaining what's going on, and then playing the videos in order. And actually, when you go to the site itself, the videos are not ordered in any way. They're just kind of mix-matched, and you yourself kind of have to piece everything together. So, this is a video where I've pieced things together. So this incident comes out of Newton, New Jersey. And according to what's going on is a family member calls the police saying that they're worried about this person's behavior and that they have a gun. When they get there, he refuses to follow their instructions, and he gets out and he has a gun. He points it at them, and they use deadly physical force against him. The gun that he had was a Glock 21, 45 caliber pistol. And the summary of what went on is contained in this little press release. And then there is a link that will show you all the video recordings. And then, of course, they have links for a 10-step process and a directive for the law that New Jersey passed where the Attorney General's office gets involved in investigating incidents where people have died after coming into contact with police. And it's not just officer-involved shootings or anything like that. It's also in custody deaths, like someone having some type of medical problem or whatever, and they just happen to die when police are around. They'll do their investigations. But anyway, you go click on this, and this is what will pop up. So these are not in order in any way, what shape or form. I wish they were, but they just throw them all in there, and you have to kind of go through each video and figure out what the hell's going on. So obviously a 911 call is always going to come first, so that kind of helps you know that this comes first. But this video right here does not come second after that. It's all backwards. So what I'm going to do is I will play in order the things that I've pieced together that kind of occurred first, or goes in sequential order, and then I'll go back and talk about things that are going on to better explain what's going on, and talk about things that I think that were done right and or done wrong. So, without further ado, here we go.
911, what's the address of the emergency?
I need the police right now.
Okay, what's the address, I'm sorry?
Clive, please.
Okay. How old is he?
He's 61.
Okay, and does he have any weapons or anything like that?
Police has a cup. Yes, he does have a gun with him.
He has a gun on him?
Yes.
Is he threatening to use it right at this moment?
He's leaving the house.
Okay, what kind of vehicle does he have?
A red truck.
I play now with a weapon, firearm. Okay, 1 second. All right. Okay, what kind of truck does he
Police
have?
are on their way, Gulia.
What kind of truck does he have?
A red truck.
Do you know his license plate?
GPD.
A red truck, stand by the
Hold on 1 minute. Please get the cops here.
Yep, they're already on the way. I have to just get this information so it assists them. G, what was it? What was it?
Hold on.
Ma'am.
Gulia. The cops are on their way. For you. Because you're acting crazy.
Quiet place.
And what are you?
Hey, now just call me real fast.
Still in the driveway.
Newton State Police, Suffolk, Consent. Male with a gun, 5 place. Do you have any units to send him?
Why isn't his GPD?
What, one more time?
Please hurry up.
One more time?
Why 82 GPD?
Red truck, partial
Stop
plate,
going.
Y4G, GPD, possibility of the ending. Trying to get further from the caller. Newton, Andover, did you copy? Do you know which way he's going?
Would you stop? Please!
Doesn't sound like he's left at the moment. Still in the driveway. Stand by. Ma'am, what's across street near your house?
Patterson Avenue.
Patterson Avenue. Copy. You got state police and Andover on the way as well. Patterson. Police or Av? Ma'am. Ma'am. Where is she? Did you hear them there? Lost contact with the caller. Receive 3. Ma'am? New police, is this an emergency? Okay, please hold. Stop. Newton, the Andover State Police, shots fired. You know how shots fired is going to be down? Racist.
Get out of the truck! Get out of the truck! Can he see him? Sir, get out of it. Does he have a weapon? Does he have a weapon? Is he on the ground? Got a gun! Got a gun! Got a gun! Got a gun! Get them here now. Roll him over. He's down. He's down. Immediately. He's shot. We got a gun. Let me get the. Get the gun. Hold on. Here. Hold on. Get the trauma kit. Get the trauma kit. Oh no. It's okay. It's okay. We're good. We're good. I got no pulse. I'm going to start CPR. Starting compression. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Get out of the truck! Get out of the truck! Get out of the truck! Get on the ground! Get on the ground! Get out of the truck! 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 He's right here! Get out of the truck! Shots fired! Shots fired! Start BLS! BLS! He's on the ground! He's dead! He's down! Got a gun! Got a gun! Got a gun! Got a gun! Roll him over! Roll him over! Get close! Get close! He's down! He's down! We need ALS, BLS immediately! He's shot! We got a gun! Stay on the gun! Somebody stay on the gun! I got the gun! Start cleaning him up! Start cleaning him up! Start cleaning him up! Sorry. Get the trauma kits! Get the trauma kits! Oh, fuck. Oh, no. We're good. We're good. Headquarters, you need to let top know. I got no pulse. I'm going to start CPR. Starting compressions. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Get out of the truck! Get out of the truck! Stop! The truck! Shot fired! Shot fired! Stop BLS! BLS! He's on the ground! He's dead! He's down! Got a gun! Got a gun! Got a gun! Got a gun! Roll him over! Roll him over! Get close! Get close! He's down! He's down! We need ALS, BLS immediately! He's shot! We got a gun! Stay on the gun!
Where's he got the gun? You got the gun?
I got the gun! Start cleaning him up! Start cleaning him up! Start cleaning him up! Sorry. Get the trauma kits! Get the trauma kits!
We're good, we're good, we're good. I got no pulse. I'm going to start CPR. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
All right, let's get into it. So the police get a call about this person behavior acting erratic, and the family member wants the police there, and he's got a gun, and he's going to be leaving the house, and later the woman that called was afraid that he was going to go kill himself. This guy, he is, according to his family, a veteran. A CNN article that I read said that his family said that he was a veteran. He was 60-something years old, and when after 9/11 happened, he was reactivated, spent several months in Iraq. He had PTSD, and worked at, I don't know if he was currently working there, but he had been working at Picatinny Arsenal, I believe it was called. And they said that when he was at work, sometimes there'd be loud noises and he have to leave, go home due to that happening. According to the family, he would ask family members not to slam the car door. They said this was on 4th of July, I want to say, or it was around 4th of July, and the fireworks had set him off. CNN also wrote in their article that they were not able to obtain any records from the Department of Defense. So at that time of writing that CNN did that article, they just weren't able to get any records. Doesn't mean that no records exist, but I don't have any knowledge of what this guy's background was or anything like that. There was a photo of him, a service photo, and it appeared to be an old photo and appeared to have him wearing a helmet that was of the style that you would associate with Vietnam era. It was just a really old school looking helmet and everything. Not saying he came from Vietnam era, but I know that after Vietnam, it wasn't until the 80s or something like that the Kevlar K-Pots came out. So don't know what his years of service were to be, but it was obviously before Kevlar helmets came about. So don't know anything about this guy other than his family says that he's a veteran with PTSD. And of course his family is saying that the police were wrong, that they killed him because he was black, and that they would not have killed him if he was not black. The family also said that the police should not have come there, but instead a crisis response team should have come there. You know, the family, after these kind of incidents, the family will say all kinds of shit. They're in a grieving process. They're mad that a family member's gone. They're upset. Since body cameras have come around and their footage has been released to the public and people get to see this stuff all the time, you would think that eventually people will just get the idea to stop calling the police when a family member has some kind of mental problems. Because if the police get there and that person produces a weapon, the police are going to do police stuff. Actually, I take that back. It's not even police stuff. They're going to do what any normal citizen is going to do. They're going to defend themselves. Doesn't matter if they're a police officer. If a firefighter showed up there and a firefighter happened to have a concealed carry gun on him, and the dude pulled a gun on the firefighter would have used deadly physical force to protect himself. Same with an EMT. One of the neighbors, let's say, one of the neighbors could hear yelling or something, and the neighbor came over there to try and talk to him and calm him down. This dude pulled a gun on the neighbor. Well, if the neighbor had a concealed carry, then the neighbor would defend himself as well. So the police are just acting naturally. They're acting just like anyone else would. They are defending themselves against this man who pulled a gun out and pointed it at them. Yeah, he may have some type of mental health problems, but him having mental health problems does not make him exempt. That does not mean he gets a pass when he pulls a gun and points it at someone. This appears to possibly be a suicide by police kind of incident. The family is just openly saying he's got mental problems. The dude is attempting to leave the house, and he gets boxed in, but it looks like if that other officer had not arrived there, he would have kept going. He gets out, goes to the back of the car, gets back into the cab, and then gets back out, and he very quickly and aggressively points a gun at these officers. He leaves them with no choice but to use deadly physical force to protect themselves against him. They have no idea if he's just pointing the gun at them in hopes that they will shoot him, and he will not ever shoot at them. They have no idea. There's no way to know that. Absolutely no way to know that. This particular camera angle right here doesn't really show a whole lot other than him backing out, and like I said, it looks like he goes to turn and gets stopped. So no idea what his intentions were. If this officer had not blocked him in, would he just keep driving? Would he go down the road a little bit, get away from the house, and then pull this stunt of pulling the gun out? No idea. Obviously, we can't ask him because he's dead. But it looked like he had intentions of leaving that immediate area, and then got boxed in. Now, at this point, which there's not still a whole lot of information being released from the Newton police in New Jersey, but based off some of the stuff that I could see in this video, it doesn't appear as though any crimes have been committed by this guy. Now, unless he was... Yeah, no. So, it would appear to me that he has not committed any crime for the police to be investigating. Now, the woman has said he's acting crazy and he has a gun. Hell, I mean, that's very broad right there. It's not very definitive. So, unless there's stuff there that I'm unaware of, there could be something there where the police know that he's suicidal and they are attempting to detain him for a mental health evaluation. Other than that, if it's not them acting off some knowledge to detain him for a mental health evaluation or investigate whether or not he needs to be detained for a mental health evaluation, then there's really no crime being committed here. And this is another thing that really makes the situations difficult for police when they respond to these things. Because if there's no crime committed, then what are the police there for? Be the family's counselor, little problem solver? This is where I think that police should just be able to tell people, no, we're not coming to that. Call us back if something else happens, like if a crime has been committed. The woman's saying, oh, he's acting crazy. At that point, really the dispatcher needs to get more detailed information before getting the police to go there. Because what's one person's interpretation of crazy? One person's interpretation of crazy could be different from the other. So there's times where I think that the police should just flat out refuse service to some people. And when it's stuff like this, yeah, 100%. What crime has he committed yet? To my knowledge, none. So the hell with the police going to this call. Now, the minute he assaults someone, well then yeah, the police can go and deal with that. So from this angle, of course, this officer gets out and starts issuing verbal commands.
Get out of the truck! Get out of the truck! Get on the ground! Get on the ground! Get out of the truck! Get out of the truck! Get out of the truck!
Now, what he does in the back of this car or truck, I really have no idea what he does.
Get out of the truck! 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 He's right here! Get out of the truck! Get out of the truck! He's right here! Get out of the truck! Get on the ground! Get out of the truck! 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 He's right here! Get out of the truck!
Now, it's possible he got his gun out of the back and he just didn't see it, and then he got back in the cab and then decided to get back out with it, or the gun could have been in front of the cab the whole time. No idea. This footage isn't the greatest. I don't know what kind of body camera they're using. I don't see the Axon stamp in the corner or any other stamps on the camera, so there's no idea, no indication of what kind of camera is being used. Even with good cameras, nighttime footage is not always the greatest. When there's an absence of light, there's really not a lot of quality footage that can be had when the camera's not able to capture a lot of light. But notice he gets in, he gets out, and he brings that gun up real fast.
Get out of the truck! He's right here! Get out of the truck! Get out of the truck! He's right here! Get out of the truck! Get out of the truck! Get out of the truck! He's right here! Get out of the truck!
So before he even fully dismounts the vehicle, he is coming out of the vehicle and raising the gun up. Very fluid movement.
Shots fired! Shots fired! Start BIOS! BIOS! He's on the ground! Shots fired! Shots fired! Start BIOS! BIOS! He's on the ground!
This officer fires, and then, of course, another officer who comes to the front of this vehicle also fires. There's no information showing how many rounds they fired, what kind of rounds were fired, how many times he was hit. We can hear a hissing noise. Someone's round hit one of his truck tires, and that's what you hear in the background is tire or air escaping out of the tire.
He's dead! He's down! Got a gun!
When it comes to officer-involved shootings, there are misses, and I don't have any statistical information in front of me about, out of how many rounds officers fire on average, how many are missed, or anything like that. Not even 100% sure if there is a national level statistic for that, because that would then require each agency who has an officer-involved shooting to provide a lot of detailed data to an entity to be able to cipher through all that. And I just don't, to my knowledge, I don't believe that exists. The only thing that does exist is the fact that an officer-involved shooting occurred. And we can see those through FBI statistics because all these agencies report to the FBI when these shootings occur. But there's no detailed information. NYPD has some detailed information. I want to say it's called SOP 9. And they'll record information, and they can have information on rounds missed and when gunfights are likely to occur, etc. But from watching several of these videos and reading about several cases of officer-involved shootings, generally there are misses. Depending on, of course, how many's there, how many rounds are fired from an officer or multiple officers. There's generally going to be some rounds missed. Now, does every officer-involved shooting mean that there are rounds missed? No. All rounds find the intended target. But if you watch enough of these videos, you will find that oftentimes there are misses. And when it comes to firearms training, of course, the whole mindset of it, not the whole mindset of it, but there's the mindset of every round has your name on it. And every round you send out, you are accountable for. And that is true. However, let's be realistic. There's going to be an increased chance of misses when these situations are extremely fluid and dynamic and fast, just super fast. as you can see, that guy came out of the vehicle real quick, raising the gun before his feet even hit the ground. When firearms training is held, it is held on a flat range during golf course kind of conditions where the student is in a cool, calm, collective state. They get to draw their gun out of their holster, get their sights on target, squeeze that trigger, etc. And there can be some stress added to some of this, having to perform a few drills and execute some of their skills, drawing, moving, get off the X, drawing gun, getting sight on target, shooting, assessing, scanning, doing a reload, going back to cover. You can do those things on the range. Kind of work in some movement and stuff like that after you've got some of the fundamentals down. And that's useful and that can help out. But the real training comes with force on force. That's when you start getting to have a 360-degree training environment, and you get to have reality-based training scenarios that will allow the student to start to experience some of the psychological and physiological changes that occur during fight, flight, freeze response. Agencies are very different across the nation. Generally, when officers are hired, they go through an academy, and at that academy, there is a block of firearms training, and that firearms training can be pretty decent firearms training. And then once they complete the academy and come back to their agency, it really depends on the agency and the state, really. And even within one particular state, all agencies may be different to some degree across the entire state. But generally, when an officer comes back from the academy, they will have to, at bare minimum, do a qualifications course once a year with their firearm. They'll have to stand at varying distances from a target, just like they learned on the shooting range, and fire a few rounds here and there from various distances and from a standing, kneeling position, and even shooting from their non-dominant hand. Some agencies will do this twice a year, some do it 3, some do it 4. It really depends on the agency's budget and how much money they got. Some agencies can't afford it to do it more than once a year. Agencies can also vary on how much force-on-force training they get. Some might be able to do it once a year, some might be able to do it multiple times a year, etc. So it's really hard to say what kind of training these guys had, because everywhere is just so different. Another thing to think about and to take into consideration for training is a lot of agencies just don't have a lot of money, and they can't afford to buy a bunch of ammo. And especially right now during COVID pandemic, when people have been buying up so much ammo, and some of it's a little scarce, some of the prices are a little up, it can be hard for some cash-strapped agencies to afford that ammo. For these unfortunate agencies that have too many stupid-ass liberals in their area and have chosen to defund them, well, whatever little money they did have is a lot smaller now. So them being able to afford quality training, some of them, it's taken a huge hit, and their training sucks now. These are not excuses onto why there are misses, but these are explanations on how misses occur. Now, in this case, the misses hit the vehicle and popped the tire, but there has been unfortunate cases where misses occurred and other people not related to the incident were hit, and that's unfortunate. Anytime that happens, confidence from the community drops. And of course, that opens the agency up to litigation, and really not just the agency; it's the city government and the citizens of that that township or that state, because ultimately it's the citizens' tax money that's going to end up paying a settlement. And of course, for the individual officers, it can weigh on them. And then, depending on if the people were able to successfully navigate the courts and sue them individually, then there's also that possibility as well. Firearms training is important. It is something that is hopefully never used, and for the most part, the majority of officers out there go their entire career and never have to shoot anyone. So with that in mind, it can be a little difficult for some agencies to justify spending X amount of money doing this thing that really never occurs for them. There's many agencies out there who just have not been involved in any shootings, whatever, at least for several years. Think about your local agency and when's the last time they got into a gunfight. And if it was recent, think about the time before that they ever got into a gunfight. Usually your small town agencies don't get into a lot of stuff. It's usually your bigger towns, because with bigger towns there's more people, and with more people there's more of a likelihood of a bunch of stupid shit going on. But the firearms training is an important thing, and it's something that I do wish that agencies could spend a little bit more money on. But there's other things within the police budget that need money as well. These groups, these civic groups that go around and they buy cops donuts and catered food and candy, little stuff like that. Although those actions are nice, these people have, good intentions, good hearts or whatever. Really what these people need to do is buy boxes of ammo for the police, and or medical equipment, tourniquets. There's lots of officers out there who just don't have tourniquets or anything like that. So there's things that these civic groups do that could be tweaked, and what they do could be done better. I mean, why do cops need boxes of donuts? They don't. They were eating before the civic group came around to start donating food to the police, and whatever day they brought catered lunch to them, they were going to eat anyway. So although those gestures are nice, it's really a waste of money. And where a lot of agencies could be helped out with these civic groups wanting to do something good is buying tourniquets for the officers if none of them have any, and buying them ammo so they can go out and practice and get better training. But anyway, like I said, that's just kind of an explanation on why misses occur. It's not an excuse or taking up for them or anything like that. It's just to help you better understand why misses occur. So this particular officer, he fires, and when I talked about training and force on force, the way he responded after this kind of makes me think that he has not had a lot of force on force. Because he seems to get, he seems to have a really huge adrenaline dump and doesn't process the jitteriness very well, and gets a little, I don't want to say excited, but he gets a little hyper.
Got a gun! Got a gun! Got a gun! Roll him over! Roll him over! Back kick gloves! He's down! He's down! We need LSBS immediately! He's shot! We got a gun! Stay on the gun! Somebody stay on the gun! I got the gun! Start cleaning him up! Start cleaning him up! Start cleaning him up!
So that whole interaction right there, dude is spun up. Like, he really is. He's got a huge adrenaline dump, which, hey, as is expected. He just had a gun pointed at him. He had to fight for his own life. So, yeah, he's going to have an adrenaline dump. But good force-on-force training, and not just one force-on-force training, but multiple interactions of force-on-force training will help a person become a little bit more stress inoculated, so to speak. You will get to mimic those things that occur so that you become a little bit more comfortable with it. I mean, hell, think about the first time you kissed someone or had some type of sexual encounter with someone. I mean, there's a lot of jitteriness going on there, right? You weren't as smooth as you are now. So, same thing with this kind of stuff. This may have been his first ever actual officer-involved shooting. And if he's done force-on-force training before, then he may not have gone through a lot of evolutions to be able to get himself close to what the real thing would be like. And when you do multiple force-on-force evolutions, it mimics or replicates what a real encounter is going to be like, because you are interacting with another live person and they are shooting marking cartridges at you, and you are trying to not evade, but you're trying to get off the X and get your gun out and put accurate incapacitating rounds on target before they can get shots on you. So when that happens in training, that somewhat replicates a lot of the same physiological and psychological things that would occur to you in a real life situation. And when you do it enough times, it can help a person be able to respond better when the real thing happens, because it's almost like they've sort of done it before. And with the way he's acted, I don't think that he's had a lot of current force-on-force kind of training. He may have had some, a while back. Maybe been a minute since he done it. But I just think that he kind of, I don't want to say overreacted, but you can definitely tell that he's not totally handling the stress all too well. He's yelling at the guy, clean him up, clean him up, clean him up. And, of course, his mind's racing. He was doing one thing and then saw the gun and then ran over there and said someone needs to cover it. And he says, oh, I got it. So, which in these kind of scenarios, yes, your mind is racing. It's going to be going like a Rolodex, really quick, to be expected. But you can experience those things in force on force and do it enough times to where when the real thing happens, it's not as pronounced. It's not as obvious that, your freaking adrenaline is pumping like crazy. But anyway, he retreats back. No, I wouldn't say retreat, but he comes back over here to the gun to maintain security over the firearm. Now, at this point, okay, yes, I understand you need to maintain chain of custody and protect evidence. But at this point, there's a limited number of them. He could have very easily have just picked that gun up, walked it back to his cruiser and closed the door and locked the vehicle, and he would have maintained chain of custody over that gun. And then be able to step in there and start helping out. Whereas right now, he's just standing by a gun and guarding it. And that's it. That's all he's doing.
Sorry. Get the trauma kits. Get the trauma kits. Oh, fuck. Oh, no. Okay. We're good. We're good.
So I've talked about this before in another video. I want to say it's the Millville video. Gloves. So when you're going to keep gloves on you, you need to have a glove that is just one size bigger than what you wear. And you see this guy and the other guy ride the struggle bus when trying to put their gloves on.
headquarters. You need to let cop know.
I got no pulse. I'm gonna start CPR.
Starting compressions.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
So your gloves should not be that hard to put on. You don't want gloves too big to where it's difficult to do anything with them, and that they can rip easily when trying to put them on. And really, that's one of the biggest risks of having gloves that are too small. When you're trying to put them on, they're more inclined to rip. Having a glove that is exactly your same size for your hand, again, there's that tightness issue with it. If it's too tight, it could rip. But more importantly, once you get blood on these gloves, you're going to have to take them off. And unless you've had blood on gloves before, you don't understand how slippery it is. That's why having a one size bigger glove will make taking that glove off a lot easier, and it makes putting the gloves on a lot easier under stress. So if you're going to get gloves, if your agency has multiple sizes there, try some on. Get a feel for different sizes. Put on a size that's a little bit bigger. Go 2 sizes bigger. Get a feel for them and figure out which one's going to be able to slip on the easiest and then take off a little bit easier. To get an idea of what it's like to have blood on your gloves and trying to take your gloves off and how difficult that could be, take some shaving cream, put gloves on, take shaving cream, spray some in your hand, and just kind of rub your hands together and get the shaving cream over the gloves. And then try to grab the glove, by the palm cuff area, which is where you're supposed to be grabbing it at, and try to peel it off your hand. You're going to find that if you have a tight glove on, you're just going to keep slipping. And then you're eventually going to have to take one of those contaminated fingers and then slip it up under the cuff, touching your skin, to get any kind of leverage to get this damn thing off. Or you're going to have someone else put on a fresh pair of gloves to help you get those gloves off. If you go a size bigger, you will find that it's easier to get that glove off with that slippery substance on your hands.
Get out of the truck! Get out of the truck!
So he sees the gun as well. He fires several rounds.
Shields! Them shields!
He's dead. He's down. Got a gun! Got a gun. Got a gun. Got a gun.
Now he is starting to bleed a lot, so we'll back this up. You can see the blood trail starting right here, and as he gets closer, you'll see that it grows and reaches down here relatively quickly. So I'll back it up a little bit more.
Shields!
So right now, no blood showing out whatsoever.
Them shields!
He's dead.
You see
He's
it.
down. Got a gun! Got a gun. Got a gun. Got a gun.
By the time he gets over here, it's already reaching down here to the vehicle. So this guy's losing a lot of blood really fast. I don't know where he was shot at, but he's losing a lot of blood real quick.
Roll him over. Roll him over. Get close. Get close. He's down. He's down. We need ALS, BLS immediately. He's shot. We got a gun. Stay on the gun.
Where's he got the gun? You got the gun?
I got the gun. Start cleaning him up. Start cleaning him up. Start cleaning him up. Sorry.
So again, with the gloves, we see how long it's taking him to put these gloves on. That's a problem.
Get the drum kits. Get the drum kits.
We're good, we're good, we're good.
And black gloves are not always the best gloves to use for medical stuff because at night it can be difficult to see blood on the gloves. The light blue, the baby blue colored gloves are good. Obviously the white gloves are even better to notice blood on them. These black gloves, yeah, they can match the uniforms and look a little bit better, but that's not a big determining factor on what kind of color gloves you get. I have both. I got blue gloves and black gloves. Aesthetically, I like the black gloves better. I think they just look better. But just note that black gloves and at night you can't see the blood very well. Now, obviously, in some situations you can feel a substance on your glove if it's on your fingers and you're touching something, you can kind of feel that through there. Or if you rub your fingers together, you can tell if there's a wet substance on the glove. But as far as the back of it and everything, you wouldn't be able to tell very well unless you got a lot of good amount of light showing down to be able to see what's on there. These gloves, although they might be good for doing searches and stuff like that, kind of keep some body grime and stuff off of you. I think medical gloves, true medical gloves, good EMS gloves are the better gloves to have. And there are medical gloves out there that have a long collar on them to go up your wrist a little bit further and provide pretty good protection beyond just your hand. It'll go up past your wrist up to your part of your forearm. And I'm not saying it's going like all the way to the middle of your forearm or anything, but imagine wearing a watch on your hand, your wrist. That glove, that cuff could go over the watch and go just a little bit past it, just a tiny bit past it. And those kind of gloves, I think, are more superior than some of these short cuff kind of gloves. And I don't know if I'm using the correct kind of terminology on that or not, but and I'm trying to do a kind of a quick search on the gloves I was talking about. Can't seem to find it. There was a brand, but I can't remember off the top of my head. But anyway, gloves that have a long collar on them or a long cuff on them, whatever. Those are better, especially if you have like a nylon band on your watch, because once you get blood on that, well, now it's contaminated. Now you need to go really decontaminate it, and it just makes it easier to protect the things on your wrist. That way you don't get blood on them, and then you have to take them off, decon them, and then risk, ruining stuff or discoloring things, whatever.
I got no pulse. I'm going to start CPR.
So you start CPR on the guy, and then the video ends shortly after that. We don't really get to see what other kind of medical treatment is being given. When it comes to medical gear, of course, you need to carry your first line medical gear on you, and this is gear that is going to be used for you, your teammates, or your family. Everyone else can wait a minute and get the medical gear that comes out of your supplemental medical gear or your second line medical gear that would be kept in your vehicle. Reason being is at this point, they don't know if there's any more fighting to be had. A family member could come out pissed at the fact they just shot their loved one and then start a second shootout with the police. So if you take the medical gear that's on your body and you use it on someone else, and then another gunfight happens and you get hit and you're too far away from any other medical gear, what are you going to do? Are you going to take the tourniquet off the dude that you just put it on and put it on yourself? or take it off the dude you just put it on and put it on your partner? No, that's not likely going to happen. So, first line medical gear that's on you is solely reserved just for you and your teammates or your family. Everyone else can wait. And especially if it's people who've tried to kill you, they can for sure wait. If it takes 2 minutes for other medical gear to get there to them, so be it. They brought that shit upon themselves. You don't want to put yourself in a situation where more fighting can happen and now you've expended all of your own first aid gear and you can't use anything to save your own life. Especially a tourniquet. You know, if you put a tourniquet on someone else and then you end up getting shot in the leg and get a femoral hit, bleed out in 90 seconds. An ambulance ain't going to get there fast enough to help you. They're probably 5-7 minutes away. And then when they do get there, they're probably going to stage. So first line medical gear is only for you and your teammates. Everyone else can wait. And so they brought this bag up here, and this is what I would classify as second line medical gear. It's just a bag of more medical gear that stays in the vehicle. They appear to have a trauma bag of some sort. What all's in it, I have no idea. Trauma bags, when you order them from distributors, they can be more or less a BLS bag, a basic life support bag for EMTs. It'll have like a blood pressure cuff in there, stethoscope, tongue depressors, little flashlight, glucose for diabetic emergencies, a little heat blanket, little emergency, not heat blanket, but one of those little Mylar emergency blankets. It might have an instant cold pack thing in there. It might have some gauze pads and medical tape, little boo-boo stuff. So even though this looks like a big bag, it might have really a bunch of useless shit in there for treating a gunshot wound. So when it comes to trauma gear for gunshot wounds, stab wounds, etc., you really want a good dedicated trauma kit. Stuff that's going to have tourniquets, pressure bandages, compressed gauze, quick clot kind of stuff in there, airway stuff, etc. Lots of different manufacturers and distributors have different stuff. You can buy kits, straight off the internet that come with certain stuff, and it's good. Or you can add to it. You can buy the individual components. You can buy multiple bandages. You can buy multiple tourniquets, etc. Sky's the limit as far as medical gear goes. A lot of agencies and security companies at bare minimum will have a first aid kit in a car to meet some type of requirement, especially for these agencies who want to be accredited. They'll go out, buy a first aid kit, and they'll put it in there. And you'd be amazed about how many places who want accreditation will put these little first aid kits in a car, and all it is a box with band-aids in it, pretty much. Like, it's some pretty useless shit when it comes to trying to treat gunshot wounds. Like, you're not going to take a fucking band-aid and put it over a bullet hole and expect it to do anything good. It's just not going to work. But hey, at least that agency's accredited, right? Wink, wink. Some agencies go above and beyond, and they do furnish good trauma kits, good IFAKs, stuff with tourniquets in it, nasopharyngeal airway, like an Israeli bandage, something like that. That's great. That's awesome. I love that. But not every agency does that. There is a cost issue when it comes to medical gear. It's not that cheap. Some agencies will provide medical gear for officers to carry on them, like a tourniquet, an old tourniquet holster. That's even better. Like, that's awesome when agencies can do that. But not all agencies can do that. Tourniquets are not that cheap. A lot of officers across this nation are having to buy their own shit. And they've been having to buy their own shit for a while. Even when they first got hired. There's several officers across this nation who had to buy their own gun for work. Like, it's 2022, and that shit still goes on. Like, there are police officers who got hired by their government to be the police, and they couldn't even give them a gun. They had to go buy their own damn gun. So, you know, if you're from those small towns, those small municipalities, you already understand what the struggle is, and you already know that everything you got, you're going to be buying on your own anyway. Same thing with security companies. Some security companies can provide all that stuff. If they can, awesome, great, love it. Want some more of it. But a lot of them, they don't. They just can't financially support that. And then, too, also, depending on the kind of security company that you got going on, you know, if it's like one of these big box companies that really operate more or less like a temp agency, and they'll just take anybody and throw a uniform shirt on them and stick them at a guard shack at some factory or something like that. Would it be nice to be able to give that person a tourniquet to keep on them? Yeah, sure. But it's not going to be likely that that gear is going to be taken care of, especially when you see some of these doofus motherfuckers with their uniforms with like stains and shit all over the front of it, and they don't take care of the shit. And the fact that they could just keep the damn thing. If they could just walk out and quit one day and keep the damn tourniquet. A lot of security agencies have to deal with that. People quit and not turning their stuff back in. And it's a very high turnover rate within the security industry. So I can kind of understand why some companies wouldn't want to buy a bunch of nice stuff and give it to their guard that they just hired last week, who could end up quitting in 2 more weeks. But some security does provide stuff, and then a lot of other security people who are more, you know, switched on, they'll buy their own stuff. But you got to have the medical gear on you. If you're going to carry the tools to induce trauma, you also need to have the tools to reduce trauma. If you're going to be carrying a gun for a living, then that means you should recognize the fact that you're going to be or could be involved in a gunfight at some point. And if you recognize that, then you need to recognize the fact that you could be shot. Bullets go both directions. And do you want medical gear right now? Do you want a tourniquet to put on your leg where you see bright red blood squirting out like a little squirt gun because you got your femoral artery hit? Do you want a tourniquet right now, or you want to wait 5 minutes for that ambulance to get there to do something? No, you want that shit right now. So medical gear is important, but also the knowledge on how to use it. So you need to get some training on medical stuff. Even if you don't have training, still carry medical stuff, because there could be someone there who knows how to use it. You know, there are some IFAKs and stuff out there that come with decompression needles, and usually there's a lot of people who will scoff at it and be like, "Why you got a decompression needle for? You don't know how to use a decompression needle, blah, 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 blah." Okay, sure. A lot of people who get these IFAKs that have decompression needles in them don't have the slightest clue how to use a decompression needle. But that don't mean that there couldn't be a paramedic nearby who's off duty who knows how to use that shit and could use it on someone and save a life. So even if you don't have knowledge on medical gear, by all means go ahead and still get that medical gear and carry it on you. That's about all I've got to say about this video. If you like what you hear and see, go ahead and give me a like and a share. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more Monday quarterback videos. Earl Henderson, Primordial Defense. Thank you for watching.